So make it very interesting. That's the main point. But now you will be wondering, okay, I get it. It has to be simple. There are no rules. I can do whatever I want with the poster. But it has to be single-minded. I had to communicate one idea and make it very interesting. How do I do that? That's the most important question for you. How do you get to that point? Again, when it comes to coming up with ideas, there are no rules. Some of us, they just go and read books or read any kind of research. So starting with research, as suggested, is probably the most important part in your work, because by doing research, you learn about the topic. The more you learn about the topic, the more you know. The more you know, the more ideas you're going to get. If I tell you to do an ad for a trip to, I don't know, Kamchatka, and it had to be a tourist ad, you don't even know how Kamchatka looks like. So what are you going to talk about, right? So the most important thing you have to start with is research, so you can actually learn more about the place and find what is interesting about the place that will appeal to the local people. Now, that's very important, and that's one way to start. Then some people prefer to go for a walk. Some people like to just sit down and look at the ceiling. Some people like to talk to each other, and that's another powerful thing. If I say something and someone else listens, they can actually come up with another idea. It's like a ping pong. I say something, you say something, I say something else, he says something else, and then we end up in something new and different. So it's very important, the teamwork, that you work together, and don't be afraid of coming up with ideas. Don't be afraid of saying this or saying that. Every idea is welcome. A little idea becomes a better idea, and a better idea, and a better idea. Now, how to get them on? What can give you some clues of how to do a good poster? This is a very simple trick. Exaggerate. If you want to say something, you can exaggerate. So if it's something is big, you can make it bigger. If something is small, make it smaller. If something is strong, make it stronger. You know, like the soldier we just saw, the topic is, it's real, it's very real. So make it more real. Put it in a real war scene. If it's hot, make it hotter. Sony PlayStation, once you start playing, you play long time. So we exaggerate. If it's long time, we make it longer. So it's so long that the nails are growing. You know, like very old people, if you never cut your nails, they will grow. So exaggerate. So if you put someone playing PlayStation, nobody will pay attention. If you put someone with very long nails playing PlayStation, then you say, what is that? And then you will read and you will get the rest of the message. Or, for example, super absorbent. So if this sponge is very absorbent, make it more absorbent. How? Well, these tribes in Africa, they carry a lot of water on their heads. So it's so absorbent that she's actually carrying a lot of water in that sponge. And it's much nicer. It's not that heavy, it seems. Of course, it's not real. It's an exaggeration. But the exaggeration drives back to your idea. Or for example, Pirelli, they claim to have very sticky tires. So they really stick to the ground. But they stick so much that it's almost like a magnet. It's pulling up the other car. There's another tool you can use, which is analogy. Analogy, actually, it's a rhetoric figure. It's basically in normal terms is something like it is like. So I use something to explain something else. So this thing I'm showing you, it is like something else. That's how analogy works. So for example, this is for tide again. It will leave your shirts or your blanket so white that it is like milk, right? So that's an analogy. It's so white, it's white like milk. And then you just show it. Basically, it's a piece of fabric that looks like milk, and you can see the cornflakes on top of it. Or I think this one is more clear, like a cat licking the blanket because the cat thinks that it's milk. It's so white that it is like milk. So you find the analogy, and these kind of things come up when you are brainstorming and working together. Like, again, as I said before, it's like, okay, if you have to talk about leaves your clothes very, very white, okay, white like what? Someone will say. And someone say, oh, it's very, very white. Like white, like the most brightest thing. Yeah, but what is very, very white? Okay, white could be milk. Ah, okay, it is like milk. And then someone say, oh, why don't we put something that looks like milk? So that's how the idea come out. So any idea you are thinking, say it to someone else and play that ping pong. So you already have two ways to do it: exaggeration and analogy. It is like something else. Another example, this is like off the mosquito repellent, right? And when you press the spray, it makes that shape, but the shape is actually like a mosquito net. So if you use off, it is like a mosquito net. No mosquito will come near to you. So again, there are many ways to do it. I'm just showing you a few. Another way to do it is show the opposite. So if you want this, you can show the opposite. So for example, if you have bad breath, you don't want to talk, you don't want people to smell your bad breath. So you have to learn sign language. That's the opposite. So you want Listerine to basically help you with your bad breath, but we show the opposite. If you have bad breath, this is what will happen to you. And this is very relevant to you. You are talking about global warming, what happens if the water rises, right? And very impactful visual is showing the opposite. WWF, they want you to save the planet, they want you to reduce your energy consumption, they want to reduce global warming, but they're showing you the opposite. If you don't do that, this is what's going to happen. The cities will be underwater and the sea creatures will be all around us. Another powerful tool, compare. It's like showing the positive and the negative at the same time. It's showing the before and the after. It's showing what happens when you use the product, what happens when you don't use the product. But you put them side by side so people can compare. What is this alternative? What is that alternative? For example, this stuffed bear costs $28, but the real one is only $7. Of course, you cannot take it home, but you can go to the zoo. That's the ticket price. So if you're a parent, you want to waste $28 in one stuffed polar bear, or you want to take your children to see the real one for just $7, much cheaper. Yeah. So you compare. That's the comparison. Another, 30 ringgit for the stuffed one, 7 for the ticket to go to a zoo. Very simple. What makes it very interesting is how similar they are. The color, the shape. See, it's not like you show a picture of a toy and you show a picture of an animal. It has to be very, very similar to make it more interesting. Another comparison. Okay, very good guy, very, very good, nice guy. But when he offers the diamond ring, he becomes Prince Charming in the eyes of the beholder. So if you actually give that ring, you will be more attractive to your loved one. So that's before offering the ring. This is when this ring from this jewelry shop has the effect on the women. And this is another tool. Make something look like something else. It's like a visual pun. It's something that at the beginning looks like something, but when you look closer, it looks like something else. And that gives you that visual impact that you want in a poster. So, for example, this one is fire fries. It looks like a matchstick. So first glance, it's a matchstick, but then it's actually a French fry. Or this one we've seen before. Very interesting. It looks like the brain. When you look closer, it's actually all magazines seen from the top. Or this ad for Sony for the headphones looks like a musical note. So again, just saying, like, you can get great music out of these headphones. Very, very simple. It's a visual pun. So you make it look like something else that delivers the message you want to deliver. Or this is looks like a home, but it's also like a barcode. What we're trying to say here is like this bank gives you fast approvals for the home loan. Usually when you want to get a loan for your home, it takes months. You need approval, you need to write down everything, and they go and check. And this one gives you a 24-hour approval, so very fast. It's like you're going to the supermarket, beep, and you get your loan approved. And the last bit is also a very powerful one. Sometimes you remove something, you take something out. It's called omission. There's something that should be there, but it's not there anymore. And that's another way to capture attention. For example, you look at this word, very strange, millennium. Oh, what is that? What is missing? The two M's, M&M, right? So it just won't be complete without M&M. That ran on 2000 with the change of the millennium. So very, very clever. You remove the two M's because they're here, and then you show how important the M&Ms are, sort of. And this is very relevant to you as well, and this is the last example for today. In axe, what are axe handles made of? Wood. But if you keep chopping trees, what is going to happen? There will be no more wood. You will have no more axes, and you can't chop anymore. It's a bit of a paradox, but it's a very important one. Here it says keep chopping at the bottom. Keep chopping, that's what's going to happen. So a very arresting visual, because what should be there is not there. That makes you think, oh, that's right, if I keep doing this I will have nothing at the end. Just to summarize, this is pretty much some of the many tools you can have to create a great poster. You can exaggerate, make your benefit or your message bigger than it is. Whatever it is, just make it bigger. Using analogies, so find what is this thing that seems to be similar, so it is like something else. Show the opposite, so if you want this end result, you show the opposite. You show what's going to happen if you don't do this. You can compare. You can put side by side the before and after, or you can put side by side the positive and the negative, so people can look at once what is going to happen. You can make something look like something else, this visual pan we were talking about, so very interesting visual that drives the message back home. Or you can take something out. You can remove, like the example I've just seen before, you can remove the good to drive your message. So those are basically the most important tools you have. And the most important one is not a rule, but again, very interesting for you. Have fun, because this is what makes great creative work. If you have fun, you really will get very good work.